You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now it's 7 with the imminent closure of the Tyson plant just a day away. One worker expresses her hopes and anxiety for the future.
Plus, a Baxter Springs man is voicing his frustration, saying he has to pay to repair his water meter after it was allegedly damaged by a tree service.
And we've got another warm and windy day in the 4 states. We've also got rain chances on the way. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is just after 7 a.m. on this Thursday morning here in the 4 states. And
yes,
we mentioned this earlier, but if you missed it, I was ill the day this was supposed to happen, and I felt terrible because I was really looking forward to it. But Caitlin got to go and do a little checking on some of the trending Halloween costumes. So Halloween enthusiasts, you better get ready to be spellbound as this year's hottest Halloween costumes have been revealed.
We went down to Eagle Sales in Commerce, Oklahoma to get a first-hand look. Well, I got a feeling that we aren't in Kansas anymore. As a matter of fact, we're in Commerce, Oklahoma, where as you can see around me, we're getting the Halloween spirit here at Eagle Sales. They've got everything you need for spooky season this year.
So here at our store, I think some of our most popular costumes in the kids area is going to be some of our superheroes, our video game costumes, the Minecraft and things like that. We have Wednesday Addams, which everyone that's a Netflix guru loves Wednesday Addams. So we do have some really good popular ones for the adults. We have mixtures of, we got scary, we got sexy, we got funny, we got inflatables, we got some really good masks. Be sure to check out our masks. We have ones with movable mouths. You do not see that very often. They're very high quality.
I think just dressing up is just fun. It's just something, you know, that you just, I don't know, it's even for adults, we're like children when it comes to Halloween, especially when it comes to dressing up. Like, you want to be this, you want to be that, you just, you know, it's just fun.
What's really unique about our store here in Commerce, Oklahoma is not only do we offer pumpkins and animatronics, we also have our little pumpkin patch outside, which we've been doing since 2018. That's actually what we grew this a part of. When we started this in 2018, we've always had the vision that we wanted to eventually turn this in to a store, and we're actually wanting to eventually have a fall festival down here. We'll have a little taste of it this year, Friday the 13th. We are going to have a little festival thing going on. We're going to have stuff for the kids to do, a little paint booth, get your face painted. We'll have our animatronic room going, pumpkins. We'll probably have pumpkin painting. So be sure to come out Friday the 13th. We'll try to have a food truck here and have some things going on. It should be a fun time.
I feel the need for speed, and I recommend that you speed on down here and get all of your Halloween necessities at Eagle Sales, happening all this month long. Reporting from Commerce, Oklahoma, I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Now, Eagle Sales will be hosting their Halloween party tomorrow, Friday the 13th, from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 303 South Mickey Mantle Boulevard in Commerce, Oklahoma.
That certainly looked like a lot of fun. I feel like I really missed out on a great
There's
time.
just so many cool costumes, and especially this year with all the blockbuster hits, and they have everything for the whole family, so I'd recommend you guys go check it out.
Yeah, if you can't figure out what you want, maybe you should just head down there, and I'm sure you'll find something for sure. Something else we're going to find, well, it might be your hat in somebody else's yard or your garbage, because it's going to be warm and breezy today. Taking a live look at our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Beautiful sunrise though, but you can watch the trees every so often when the wind starts to gust out there, and they'll start to sway back and forth. Same with this traffic light here, 32nd and Rangeline in Joplin. Of course, this is the MoDOT camera at that location. As we take a quick look outside, clear skies, Joplin and Pittsburgh. A little cooler than where we were yesterday, but only by 2 or 3 degrees. 59 in Joplin, sitting at 58 in Pittsburgh. We get our morning started. Of course, the winds will continue to gust with us. Clouds will increase, especially long into the west of I-49. We'll go upper 60s by late morning. We do have wind advisories, parts of southeast Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma. These run until 7, where wind gusts out there could be 40 to 45 miles an hour. For the rest of us, though, wind gusts upwards of 35 miles an hour. So another trash can in the neighbor's yard kind of day out there. We do have increasing storm chances tonight and decreasing temperatures over the next few days. Take a look at your full forecast here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Well, a Knoll, Missouri man is sentenced after pleading guilty to child sex crimes. Authorities say in July of last year, 60-year-old Gregory Elmore was caught trying to rape a child he was related to by the child's father. Tuesday, Elmore pleaded guilty to attempted statutory rape of a child under 14 years old. He is sentenced to 15 years in prison. The Tyson plant in Knoll, Missouri will close on Friday, leaving about 1,500 people unemployed. The company is offering $1,000 for those who work until the very last day, and that's not taken into consideration for how long these people actually worked for the company. The employees who chose to stay until the last day to receive the compensation are now dealing with the uncertainty about their future. Yaneth Gonzalez, who is originally from El Salvador, says that the situation has been especially stressful for immigrants who don't speak English and those who, unlike herself, don't have their papers. Our reporter Fernanda Silva provided the translation.
They don't have anywhere to work because they left their lives there, bought their houses, have their cars, and many dreams they had. And now with this that is happening to them, it's been difficult for me to see them cry.
These hiring usually offer night shift, making it harder for women with kids. We also reached out to Tyson, who emailed us answers to our questions. Tyson says they are offering a $5,000 transfer bonus and up to $5,000 assistance for moving expenses for team members who physically move to another Tyson Foods facility. Tyson's spokesperson says that 16% of the workforce plan to remain employed by the company. Also, according to Tyson, they have coordinated with outside employers and the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development, who share employment opportunities, unemployment assistance, and other support for employees. A Baxter Springs man is looking for answers about who's on the hook for his damaged water meter. After receiving a higher than usual water bill from the city, William Mortal was notified his water meter was damaged. Mortal was billed $200 to repair the water meter, but he thought Right Tree Service would take accountability since the meter was working before they worked on the property. He says the company was contracted by Liberty to cut branches. Mortel says he's understanding but believes someone else's mistake shouldn't be on his dime.
Pretty much just pass me off and say, that's not our responsibility, it's the tree people. I called the tree people, they said, that's not our responsibility, we didn't do it. So, I'm just stuck with the invoice, and that's not fair. If I ran over their meter, I would be expected to pay for it. They might not have even seen it, I don't know. But the fact is, it was.
KOAM reached out to Liberty Utilities and Right Tree Service for a statement. We have not received a response. Pittsburgh's mayor yesterday delivered the 2023 State of the City address. The free event brought out the community for a morning of networking, breakfast, and short program. The mayor shared Pittsburgh's accomplishments in 2023 as well as a look ahead. He says the event served as a way to connect with the community.
Everybody should interact with their community in some form or other. Don't ask me why I'm doing this at my age and after 2 careers. It's because I want to do something. I've got it. I love people. I love to be around people. I like to solve problems.
The address took place at the Memorial Auditorium. Fuzzy's Taco Shop in Joplin has closed up, seemingly permanently. Customers went to the shop yesterday expecting to be open like normal, but they were met with a sign on the door that read in part, "Fuzzy's Taco Shop in Joplin is closed. We apologize for the inconvenience." Google lists the business as permanently closed. Numerous people were seen removing items from the building and loading them into SUVs and U-Haul trailers. Coming up next, Gallaudet University created a game changer for Hamlet, the team's football players. And later, Halloween is around the corner, and one young man has been saving his money and getting ready since the summer. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Health Watch this morning, the number of drug overdose deaths in the United States is still increasing every month, but the pace appears to be slowing. New estimates from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention projects that more than 112,000 people died from a drug overdose in the 12-month period ending in May. That's an increase of more than 2,700 from the previous year. But experts say that despite that increase, these numbers are still lower than the jump seen during the early years of the COVID-19 pandemic. Overdose deaths spiked 30% between 2019 and 2020 and rose another 15% between 2020 and 2021, according to the CDC. The Food and Drug Administration has approved the first over-the-counter version of Nexplanon, or Narcan, which is a drug used to reverse opioid overdose. The nasal spray is now available in stores and online. Gallaudet University is known for its groundbreaking work for the deaf and hard of hearing. The school has an active sports program, and now a new invention could be a game changer for the team's football players. Caroline Patrice has more.
Gallaudet Bison are once again paving the way.
To know that it actually happened and we made history, it's even better than I thought.
Gallaudet University and AT&T creating the first 5G connected football helmet for deaf and hard of hearing football players that changes the game.
The most important thing was it opened up access to communication. Important. Sometimes I can't get the attention of our quarterback.
Over the weekend, it was used for the first time in the win against the Hilbert College Hawks.
I think it's mind-blowing. Using this kind of technology is super advanced, especially when you're talking about using it in the game of football. So truly blown away, and I can see how it benefits us in a game time situation. So hats off to AT&T for making this happen.
The helmet allows coaching staff to send plays via a tablet to a digital display located in this visor.
With this helmet, you don't have to look to the sideline to try to see what the coach is saying. You can just focus on the huddle, get the play directly from the helmet.
Quarterback Brandon Washington sees the play and is able to give clear communication to his team.
Yes, I really think it can change the game for us, hard of hearing and deaf people, yes.
Unlimited possibilities for leveling the playing field. Honestly, it's something that I never could imagine kind of happen.
The university says it shouldn't go unnoticed that Gallaudet invented the modern-day huddle in 1894, a way to conceal hand signals from another deaf opponent.
AT&T made a $500,000 donation to Gallaudet.
And we've got ourselves another warm and windy day out there. In fact, we have wind advisories for parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma through 7 this evening. Winds could gust 40 to 45 miles an hour in those areas. The rest of us seeing wind gusts 30 to 35. We have increasing thunderstorm chances as we head into the overnight hours and decreasing temperatures. We're having another look at your forecast when we come back. And coming up, Pittsburgh residents had a chance to meet the candidates running for the district's Board of Education.
Welcome back. Joining us in studio is Justin Luno with the Joplin Fire Department, and it is Fire Prevention Week.
It is Fire Prevention Week. Good morning.
Good morning, Dustin. All right, so tell us, what are you guys doing to help prevent fires?
Right now, we are out in the community kind of full force. We're doing a lot of public education events in schools and community outreaches. So our goal is to get the word out that, just to be more fire aware. This year, we're focusing on kitchen fire prevention.
Okay, kitchen, right? A lot more things to think about as we're bringing it indoors. We're moving away from the barbecues. Now we're doing a lot of in-house hearty meals, so absolutely, we have to be safe with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cooling off. So we're bringing the families in, and yeah, it's time to kind of focus on that and be careful around cooking appliances. The number one cause of cooking fires is stoves. So a couple of just quick tips is if you do have a fire event in a stove, just turn the power off and leave the door shut.
Okay.
The fire will actually remain in that stove for quite some time, and we'll just get there and put it out real quick. Yeah, absolutely. And then in the stovetop fires, if there's some type of a stovetop fire, if you just have a lid handy and you slide it over the top of that fire, it will extinguish it very quickly. But if you have any doubt, just leave the residence and call us.
Yes, absolutely.
And your local fire department will be there very quickly.
We were talking a little bit about candles. I mean, it's spooky season, so we have jack-o'-lanterns. We have a lot of fall candles that people are liking to burn. What are some tips that you have to keep the family safe?
The tips are, especially if you have children or something like that, to be sure that you keep them out of reach. Kids are amazing acrobats. They can climb and do all kinds of fun things. Be sure you keep them out of reach of children, and have that discussion with them when they get old enough. Talk to them about why you shouldn't touch it, why you shouldn't be around it. And then, of course, we have all of our fun fall decor around, right?
Yes.
The temperature's changing. It's beautiful outside. just be sure that you keep that decor away from the open flame, right? You know, trim the wicks back, make sure it's a safe height so you don't have a really, really tall flame. And enjoy this season and don't have a fire in your house.
What about bonfires? I mean, we all love good bonfire right now, especially with football season.
Yeah.
What do you recommend with all the dry leaves and everything around?
Right. Well, you know, within the city of Joplin, we do have burn permits and a burning policy. Everybody has a little bit different, so check with your local agency as far as what requirements are. But you know, a very good rule of thumb is to, you know, keep an area clear around it and keep a water source handy, whether it's a garden hose. A garden hose can do a lot, or a shovel or a rake or something like that. And then, of course, don't use some type of an accelerant to ignite it. Be careful there.
Don't do that. All right, Dustin, as always, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And stay tuned because we got more news coming your way.
Just around the corner.
And one young man in Detroit with a medical condition has been saving his money and getting ready since the summer. Will Jones reports.
Hey, Kingston. How are your inflatables today?
8-year-old Kingston Hosang loves Halloween.
We would go around surrounding neighborhoods and just check out different displays.
Last year, Jolene Hosang and her husband promised Kingston if he saved up his money, he could put up a Halloween display at their home on Detroit's west side this year.
I was just surprised how fanatical he was about it because, you know, at one point my husband was just like, oh, we're going to have another inflatable meeting.
By summer, he was ready to go, saving up $345.
I had so much money. We were going to Home Depot literally every week checking to see if they were selling any of the Halloween decorations.
Neighbors took notice as his Halloween display started taking shape in August.
I was certain that they would just be irritated or annoyed at the fact that it was up in the month of August.
How are they annoyed?
Just because it's not even the month that we're celebrating Halloween. Halloween is in what month? October.
Every morning, Kingston makes sure everything is in working order.
I think your end is like this.
Oh, okay. You make sure that they don't fall over?
Yeah.
Making for a memorable Halloween for Kingston, who can't take part in some traditions of the holiday because he's unable to swallow.
Usually when Kingston goes trick-or-treating, right, typically he just gets candy, of which he can't ever eat. And so this allows him to continue to enjoy Halloween on his own terms.
I would be so happy.
Certainly an impressive display. He's really put a lot of thought into that project, and it's looking fantastic.
Congrats to Kingston and a happy Halloween.
Absolutely.
Well, coming up, one area animal shelter hits critical capacity. We hear how it's trying to deal with the problem.
And as we've mentioned this morning, we've got wow, look at that sunrise. That's from our camera here at KOAM. We've got a warm and windy day ahead of us, increasing rain chances as well. We'll have another look at that forecast when we come back.
State's most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:27 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. This weekend, the Parsons Historical Museum is hosting its second annual Night at the Museum fundraiser. The featured guest for the event is psychic medium Julie Kellogg. KOAM's Tanya Bach took a tour of the museum with Kellogg. This is what she found.
If history could talk, you'd never get a word in at the Parsons Historical Museum.
So much to see. I mean, it's one of those places you can't just come and spend an hour.
Jonna Gabbard is on the Parsons Museum Board. She's part of the team that's working to catalog the thousands of items the museum has to offer. Items that each have a story to tell.
I'm the medium space. I'm the messenger.
Enter psychic medium Julie Kellogg.
And see, some of the things like these, I didn't know what was here, and I just brushed against this, and I can feel the energy from these jackets. I think they're military or something.
Kellogg realized she had a unique ability when she was about 8 years old.
I started then paying attention to when I felt something, or I saw something, or I heard something.
She can see dead people and even talk to them.
Are you noticing any spirits as we move through the museum?
Actually, I just heard I don't know if you noticed, I paused for a moment. When we were talking, I heard a lady say, my baby's things are here. And I feel like it's these shoes. I don't know if there's any identification on that, but like this baby didn't make it. So that's the sadness I feel, and sorry. Sometimes when they come through, I feel that, and I get a little emotional. I can't imagine what it'd be like to lose a child.
From a story of sadness stemming from a pair of baby shoes to a terrifying story that led to an advance in X-ray technology.
In the beginning stages of this, I just saw person after person, they're trying to do X-rays on them, but it literally cooked them on the inside. And that's kind of a creepy, gross thing to say, but it's, and I see those things. So I see these people and I see them, like the inside of them is just burnt up. And there might be just like a little spot on the outside, but inside, it just changed everything for them.
A painful but important piece of history in a museum filled with stories.
I kind of think of it of like an antique store where you got to go in and you got to look up, down, and left and right to see everything because there's so many layers.
Layers Gabbard says are waiting to be discovered and hopefully never forgotten.
This weekend's event is sold out, but you can find a link to Kellogg's website on ours at KOAMnewsnow.com. In the article, Julie also shows us how to protect yourself from unwanted spirits this Halloween season.
We've got another warm and windy day across the 4 states. In fact, we have wind advisories for parts of southeast Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma. These run through 7, and the winds out there could be gusting upwards of 40 to 45 miles an hour. Wind gusts for the rest of us 30 to 35. So it's another trash can in the neighbor's yard kind of day out there. We're actually going to see increasing cloud cover through the morning and into the early afternoon, especially along into the west of the I-49 corridor. And then those clouds will clear and we'll all get to warm up, upper 70s, maybe even some lower 80s out there, and we'll be clear through the evening, and by about midnight we start to see some scattered shower and thunderstorm chances. Now these are going to be scattered, so not everywhere all at once, but these thunderstorms will continue and redevelop through the morning hours, and they will not exit the area until about 10-11 o'clock tomorrow morning. And some of the storms overnight tonight could be on the strong side, so we do have a low risk for perhaps some small hail and a low risk for some gusty winds, especially into southeastern Kansas out there. And of course, as we've mentioned before, this is what they call the Day 1 outlook. It is updated several times through the day, and its next one's at 8. So if any of this information changes, we will certainly pass that along to you. We have got much cooler temperatures as well behind this system. We're going to take a full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Environmentalists and government officials gathered yesterday at NEO A&M College in Miami. That's the site of the 25th National Environmental Conference. It was chosen because of its proximity to the Tar Creek Superfund site. Officials were able to give updates on cleanup projects in the area, including Tar Creek and Pitcher, as well as how Miami is fighting flooding.
To highlight and explain and explore the environmental challenges that we face and the environmental justice challenges that we face in northeastern Oklahoma.
People who are currently taking part in the cleanup efforts and those that have retired were able to share personal stories about those efforts. Pittsburgh residents had a chance to meet the candidates running for the district's Board of Education. Root Coffee House hosted the event in partnership with the Pittsburgh Education Association. One resident we spoke to said keeping the teachers around was a big priority for him.
I think the main thing is retaining our teachers, making sure our teachers are supported, they have the resources they need, that they're paid adequately, making sure our students have the resources that they need to be successful. There's no reason why we should have this amazing university here in town, and we have all these amazing kids graduating with education degrees, and yet all school systems aren't the first place they're applying. So making sure everyone's got the support they need, that's probably one of my biggest reasons.
Root Coffee House is hosting another public meeting between residents and candidates on October 25th from 4 to 6 p.m. Students at Pitt State had a chance to conduct a crime scene investigation, at least a simulated one. A criminal forensics class instructor, Chris Back, is collaborating with Pitt State Police and Public Safety to design and run the simulation. The simulation adds realistic components such as crime scene perimeters. One priority is that students process the scene in the time they're given.
No, so now that evidence is what's going to help determine
and give us a clearer picture as far as what happened, right? So that's going to be sent off to the lab, and then the lab is going to come back with our results and hopefully give the investigators a more conclusive idea as far as what happened.
The simulation happened on the north side of PSU's Russ Hall. The Joplin Humane Society is offering $25 adoption fees for Adopted Dog Month through October 15th. This special is also a way to help lower their critically high number of animals. The Humane Society is encouraging anyone who can't take pets into their home to consider other ways to help.
They can definitely come out and help us socialize the animals here. We're always in need of supplies, so everything that you might use at home for your pets, we can use it here.
Supplies they regularly need are dry and wet pet food, bowls, collars, and leashes. You can visit the Joplin Humane Society Facebook page for updated information on their needs and how you can help. The Anderson Elementary School leveled up for lunchtime with the help of some video game characters. McDonald County Schools teamed up with OPAA Foods, the district's food service provider, as part of the nationwide celebration of National School Lunch Week. Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach took on the role of lunch servers yesterday. The event is part of a week-long celebration of the vital role that school lunches play in nurturing the health and success of students.
They'll be excited. I think they'll be excited because number one, it's Chicken Patty Day. What kid doesn't like Chicken Patty Day? And number two, kids love video games, and they're going to love seeing us and our costumes.
The creative campaign is called Level Up with School Lunch. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. An iconic vehicle from the 1980s has been discovered in good condition in Illinois. We'll have the details.
Plus, as we've mentioned, another warm and windy day out there. We will take a look at that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Well, an iconic vehicle from the 1980s has been discovered in good condition in Illinois. It's a 1981 DeLorean. The blast from the past sat in a Waukesha County barn, untouched and undriven for nearly 20 years. 42-year-old vehicle still has all of its original parts from 1981, but unfortunately no ability to travel into the past, and it's only got 977 miles on it. Barry McCrae spoke with the excited new owner and has this report.
That's the sound of an original 1981 DeLorean with only 977 miles on it, being pried open for the first time in nearly 2 decades. The stainless steel machine gaining new ownership after sitting in a Waukesha County barn, untouched and undriven.
He said he would go out in the barn and just look at it because he thought it was a really cool car.
Michael McElhatton is the owner of DeLorean Midwest, a restoration company. He says he got wind of the hidden treasure by a phone call all the way from New Mexico.
It happened pretty quick because once I found out the car was close and it was a low mileage car, I was excited to go take a look.
The nephew of the car's original owner told McElhatton they were looking to sell the piece of history. So McElhatton, along with his social media coordinator, Kevin Thompson, made the trip to the barn to see their dream car. But when they got there, they found more than they bargained for.
We opened it up. The first thing I saw was a mouse go running across the center console.
Despite the mice invasion, McElhatton says this car has withstood the test of time.
The condition of the leather, the condition of the instrument cluster and the dash, and a lot of places where you see sun damage, and that's one of the big killers on this. This car has virtually no sun damage.
Now McElhatton is hopeful he can restore the car back to its glory days.
To take a car from this condition to what I know we can do with it is just, you know, that's an adventure anybody wants to be on.
The DeLorean may be best known for its role in the movies Back to the Future, at least that franchise. That is absolutely incredible to find a vehicle like that. I saw a thing on YouTube, a guy found there was a 1980s Toyota Corolla or something along those lines. Maybe not a Corolla, but it was still fascinating. And the tech in that car, way ahead of its time for the 80s. Well, coming up, the United Auto Workers strike against the big 3 U.S. car makers expanded again yesterday. Well, details. And we have got ourselves some wind advisories out there. Another warm and windy day, a very windy day for some. We're going to take another look at that forecast when the KOAM Morning News makes a return. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:43 now on this Thursday morning. We have some wind advisories. We talked about these earlier. Parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma through 7 o'clock tonight. Those areas could see wind gusts 40 to 45 miles an hour. The rest of us getting in on 30 to 35 mile an hour wind gusts. So another trash can in the neighbor's yard kind of day. Make sure it is secured. We're going to see increasing clouds through the morning into the early afternoon, especially along and to the west of the I-49 corridor. So as you see, that does keep parts of southeast Kansas cooler than the rest of us, albeit briefly, and then we'll all eventually start to warm up out there as we head into the evening. In fact, we'll even clear out this evening ahead of thunderstorm chances, those increasing around midnight across the area. Now, they'll still be scattered across the region, but thunderstorm chances will be there. Then we'll see some additional redevelopment by about 5 o'clock in the morning and some continued redevelopment, and these storms will finally exit the area by about 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, and there is that slight risk of a strong storm or two, so we do have a low-end hail risk and wind risk. So do watch out for some small hail, maybe some gusty winds, and of course we'll be keeping an eye on those storms for you. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, plentiful sunshine, and there's those increasing clouds looking off to the north and to the west. Over in Kansas, KDOT camera just south of Pittsburgh. Sun is shining, but I guarantee you overhead, starting to see a few more clouds out there. And here's a better view of those clouds from our camera at 7th and Range Line as they're building in. We're set at 59 in Joplin, south breeze at 10, but we've seen gusts this morning alone up to 25 miles an hour. A little cooler this morning, but not bad. 59s in Nevada, Lamar, Pittsburgh, Carthage, 58, Neosho, Anderson, 55, Monette, Cassville, 60, Miami Grove, 62, Parsons, 60 in Fort Scott, 61 in Iola and Chatopa. Get your morning started. Of course, those gusty winds will make a return, as do the clouds out there for a few of us, or at least for most of us, to be honest with you. Upper 60s by late morning. Highs today, once again, above average into the upper 70s and low 80s. Again, clear, mild, breezy through the evening, breezy overnight. Thunderstorm chances, overnight lows back into the upper 50s, lower 60s. Starting with a high early in the upper 60s Friday, temperatures falling slowly through the day into the upper 50s, and then much cooler heading into the weekend. We're talking upper 50s, low 60s out there, so overnight lows get pretty chilly as well. We start to warm up by the middle of next week with some increasing rain chances. That's a quick check of your forecast. Now here's Caitlin with the check of Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, President Biden is hoping to put an end to hidden fees. Yesterday, he announced a new proposed rule from the Federal Trade Commission that would ban companies from charging so-called junk fees and require them to disclose all pricing up front. Businesses could face a $50,000 fine per violation if the rule is finalized as is in the coming months. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has also issued a new policy aimed at stopping banks from charging fees when customers request basic information about their accounts. The United Auto Workers strike against the big three U.S. car makers expanded again yesterday. Around 9,000 workers at a Kentucky Ford truck plant walked out as bargaining talks between the two sides continued to stall. In a statement, Ford called the move, quote, grossly irresponsible but unsurprising. Nearly 5,000 workers have been laid off since the UAW strike began roughly 4 weeks ago. And Coffee Mate is hoping to make fetch happen with its new pink frosting flavored creamer. This is inspired by the movie Mean Girls. The company's first ever pink creamer will be available in stores nationwide as of January 2024, marking the film's 20th anniversary. Mean Girls is a production of CBS's parent company, Paramount Global. And we'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Features two movies, both based on real events, but very different.
David Daniel has the details in our Hollywood Minute.
Together, we can do anything. We're here to restore justice to the Wrestling Federation that our father built with his own two hands. The hands that were passed down to us. The hands that will deliver the Iron Claw to you.
Here's your first look at Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, and Lily James in The Iron Claw, based on the true story of wrestling's Von Erich brothers. The film enters the ring and theaters December 22nd.
Welcome to America and the healthcare situation.
Philanthropist and naturalist Stan Brock went from hosting Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom to founding Remote Area Medical. The nonprofit provides free medical, dental, and vision care to underserved and uninsured people. His work and that of his 92,000 volunteers is profiled in Medicine Man, the Stan Brock Story. The award-winning documentary is in theaters one night only, Saturday, November 14th. Check fathomevents.com for locations and showtimes. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
A lot of good movies coming out.
Yeah, and certainly that other one definitely interesting in terms of that documentary. It should be fascinating to see. What else is fascinating to see? Well, for right now, some clear skies, but if we look at our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin, you'll see the increasing clouds off to the northwest from that location. And that's the weird thing is we're having increasing clouds, then they'll clear out, and then it'll storm. It's a fun little day for us. Otherwise, we got plentiful sunshine right now. MoDOT camera, 32nd range line. Another view of those increasing clouds off to the north and to the west. Outside right now, as you can see, we're starting to lose the sunshine in Pittsburgh because of those clouds out there. It's starting to overtake southeast Kansas. 59 Joplin, 60 in Pittsburgh right now. We get our morning started. We're going to be breezy. Winds gusting 30, 35. We even have some wind advisories out there as well. We'll show those in just a moment with those increasing clouds as well. Upper 60s by late morning. Here's those wind advisories, parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. They run until 7 this evening. Gusts out to the west here could be upwards of 40 to 45 miles an hour. The rest of us getting in on gusts in that 30 to 35 mile an hour range. We'll have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Nome, Missouri man is sentenced after pleading guilty to child sex crimes. Authorities say in July of last year, 6-year-old Gregory Elmore was caught trying to rape a child he was related to by the child's father. Tuesday, Elmore pleaded guilty to attempted statutory rape of a child under 14 years old. He is sentenced to 15 years in prison. The Tyson plant in Nome, Missouri will close on Friday, leaving about 1,500 people unemployed. The company is offering $1,000 for those who work until the very last day, not taking into its consideration for how long these people worked for the company. The employees who chose to stay until the last day to receive the compensation are now dealing with the uncertainty about their future. Yaneth Gonzalez, who is originally from El Salvador, says that the situation has been especially stressful for immigrants who don't speak English and those who, unlike her, don't have their papers. A Baxter Spring man is looking for answers about who's on the hook for his damaged water meter. After receiving a higher than usual water bill from the city, William Mortal was mortified when his water meter was damaged. Mortal was billed $200 to repair the meter, but he thought Right Tree Service would take accountability since the meter was working before they worked on the property. He says that the company was contracted by Liberty to cut branches. Mortal says he's understanding but believes someone else's mistake shouldn't be on his dime.
And we've got those windy conditions again today. Gusts for most of us 30 to 35. Parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma could get as high as 40 to 45. Increasing clouds along and west of I-49, and then they'll decrease as we head later into the afternoon. Above average highs again, upper 70s, low 80s out there. Clear skies through the evening, mild and breezy. Thunderstorms building in after midnight. Lows back into the upper 50s, low 60s. We'll start on the upper 60s on our Friday. Temperatures falling gradually through the day, and then it stays pretty chilly, 60 on Saturday, upper 50s Sunday and Monday. And then by next week, temperatures do start to warm up a bit, and we'll see some increasing rain chances by Wednesday evening.
Well, the much anticipated Taylor Swift film is shutting down one of Los Angeles' most popular and upscale shopping complexes, The Grove. Preparations are underway Wednesday for what appears to be a large-scale premiere. The open-air mall announced on its Instagram stories that it will be closed to shoppers Wednesday. Premiere specifics and an appearance by Swift herself are yet to be officially confirmed. Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour concert film, premieres in theaters nationwide on Friday. Swift has encouraged her fans to dance and sing and exchange friendship bracelets during the movie. It is expected to bring in between $100 million to $125 million opening weekend.
Now, a lot of folks out there are looking forward to that movie. There's some big Swift
fans. It's a big one.
definitely going to be checking that out. Well, we want to thank you for hanging out with us this morning and letting us put the good into your morning. We're going to be back with more news and weather today on the KOAM News at noon.
Have a great rest of your day.